Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yugioh VRAINS discussion video. So, for you guys that have not been following Yugioh VRAINS or watching since Season 2, or maybe just have not watched Yugioh VRAINS at all, there was an old summoning method that has finally showed up in VRAINS in the last episode, in episode 54. It took us 54 episodes to get there, by far the longest amount of time it has taken to see this summoning method, but that is fusion. Playmaker used a fusion monster. He summoned Cyber's Clock Dragon in his duel against Blood Shepherd, and this kind of came out of nowhere, but in a matter of about 6 episodes, in a matter of less than 2 months, we have now seen 2 rituals, one used by Playmaker, Cyber's Magician, and one used by Soulburner, and now we have seen a fusion. So all of a sudden, since Season 2 has started, we're starting to see more and more summoning methods introduced. Now, yes, rituals and fusions have both been here since the very beginning. It's not as groundbreaking as seeing maybe a Synchro or an XYZ, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. So in this video, I really want to focus in on the summoning methods, and I want to ask you guys and really have a good discussion with you down below if you think we will see Synchros, XYZ, and or pendulums. I will even give my percentage chances of what I think the chances are that we will see these summoning methods at the end of the video, towards the end of the video. And I'm definitely a lot more hopeful than I was when Season 1 ended, because when Season 1 ended, it didn't look like we were going to get any other summoning method but links. We didn't have any rituals, we didn't have any fusions, we didn't have any signs of those monsters appearing, of those summoning methods being used, and coming off a series in Arc 5 where I thought Arc 5 did wonderfully. I even made a video about how Arc 5 should have set this precedent, and that we wished Arc 5 set this precedent, is that all the summoning methods were at least shown. Now, I'm not saying they need to be a major focus, and there were a lot of people who kind of said on the con side in that video of having all the summoning methods that it becomes a bit crowded, and it takes away from other from link summoning, and it just kind of gets messy and clustered. But you don't need to have an XYZ or a Synchro and a Pendulum every single duel. If they show up every 10 or 15 episodes and we know that they exist in the universe and a character can maybe pull out any sort of summoning method at any point, I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing, as long as they're not overused. We already had a show in Arc 5 where the summoning methods were a very big focal point for the plot, so I don't think we really need another show that does that. I think Arc 5 already kind of did that. But that being said, it's also cool to see how in the link format you can hit a Synchro combination or an XYZ monster or a fusion and pendulum monster, and that's what we have seen. Sai Net Ritual allowed Playmaker to summon Cyber's Magician, which he has done twice since Season 2 began in episode 47. We're approaching episode 55, just so you have an idea of how many times Playmaker is already utilizing the older summoning methods, and then he used Sai Net Fusion to summon Cyber's Clock Dragon. So will we see a card at some point that is called Sai Net XYZ or Sai Net Tuner or Sai Net Synchro? It's definitely possible. Another interesting thing is Playmaker's suit changes every time he does a different summoning method. So when he ritual summoned, his suit turned blue. When he fusion summoned, his suit turned purple. So maybe when he synchros, his suit will turn white, even though for some, I guess I associate white because that's obviously the color of the Synchro monster. When he XYZ summons, maybe his suit will turn black, and when he pendulums, maybe his suit will turn... Geez, what is the color? Well, Pendulum monster kind of have weird colors, but you don't know what that'll be. So that already would be really, really cool. Now, so here's the thing. Here's the problem with these other methods, especially with pendulums. In fact, I already did a video about why I don't think pendulums will appear, and that's really because pendulums can really not be utilized at all in speed duels, and speed duels are probably about 75 to 80% of the duels that we see. Now, there's always a chance Playmaker will use a different deck when he duels in Master Duels. He probably already kind of uses a bit of a different deck, so there's a chance we could see him use a Pendulum, an XYZ, or a Synchro in these Master Duels. The other thing is, and a lot of people have asked this question, is where the hell did Playmaker even get these monsters from? Are you telling me these monsters have been in his deck since day one, and the entire first season he just never used a ritual? He just never used a fusion? I don't think actually that's the case. I think when I went back to the Cyberse world right after the Playmaker Revolver duel, he brought back with him these ritual and fusion cards. And what other cards did he bring? We don't know, because there's a very interesting line right before Playmaker has his first Season 2 duel where I says, hey, let me add this card to your deck. And Playmaker says, oh yeah, that is a really good card. And I's like, right? And then the duel begins. So we don't know what that card was, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that I gave Playmaker Sai Net Ritual and maybe gave him Cyberse Magician as well, or Cyberse Magician was just there. He already had Cyberse Magician, but he didn't have a ritual card, which doesn't really make sense. I don't really know. The problem with that sentence, though, is it seems Ignis uses a singular version as if he gave Playmaker only one card. It would have been different if I said, hey, take these cards, but still, that could have happened. It might have been multiple cards and they just maybe had a typo or a spelling error or something like that, but I think it's pretty safe to say that when he went back to the Cyberse world, brought these cards, brought the Ritual, brought the Fusion back with him, gave them to Playmaker. So does that mean that based on that logic, there could be Synchros and XZs in that world as well? There absolutely could be, and it'll be just very, very exciting to see if that transpires. But another thing is, I wouldn't mind seeing other duelists use these monsters as well. Maybe every Ignis user has their own special version of a summoning method, where Playmaker for some reason is able to master all of them. Soulburner has already used a ritual, so maybe Soulburner's method will be rituals. Maybe Spectre's Ignis will give him synchros. I mean, he's white. He has a white suit, white hair, so that would just make sense. Maybe Jin's character will have XZs and overlays, and someone else will have pendulums. It's possible that they will go that route. I still am not convinced. Now, the one good thing here is we have so much time until Yugioh VRAINS comes to an end. If we got rituals and fusions in like the 100s and there were only 20 episodes left, I'd say, well, guys, it's cool that we saw them, but we probably won't see much more of these alternate summoning methods, and there's no way they're going to force feed us XZs and Synchros. We're not even halfway through VRAINS yet. We're approaching the halfway mark. We're probably only about 3 months from the halfway mark, which is crazy to think, but we're not halfway yet, meaning there's still a lot of time, but I still am skeptical that we will see Synchros and XZs, and if we do that, then where I have placed Yugioh VRAINS on the timeline gets completely obliterated and thrown down the trash chute. So here is my final prediction of whether I think we will see Synchro summoning, XZ summoning, and or Pendulum summoning in Yugioh VRAINS. I will be doing this on a 100% chance. XZs and Synchros are the same for me. I think there is a 40% chance that they will make an appearance in Yugioh VRAINS, which is much higher than I thought when Season 1 concluded. When Season 1 concluded, I still thought we would have seen fusions, but that was the only summoning method that I thought we were going to ever see at any point. And then we had, of course, Cyberse Magician appear on the cover of one of the card packs, so we knew a ritual was going to be used because the cover monster is almost always used. Then we had a card pack named Soul Fusion, so people thought maybe Soulburner was going to use a fusion monster. Playmaker uses one out of nowhere in the last episode. So the odds, I think, of Synchros and XZs appearing have definitely gone up, and I would put them around 40%. I don't want to say it's a 50-50 chance still that we will or won't see them, but I think there still is a pretty decent chance, and there's some hope to grasp there that we will see Synchros and XZs. Pendulums, though, I'm still very skeptical on, and I'm skeptical to the point that I'm actually going to put Pendulums at 10%. I think there is only a very, very slight likelihood that we will see Pendulums, mainly because you can use an XZs monster and a Synchro in speed duels. Pendulums are exclusive. They would have to be exclusive to Master Duels, and I just don't see, with a Pendulum card, you need two of them. You can't use a card named Sai Net Pendulum because you need to set the scales, unless that would act as two scales. You could set the scale with only one card, but then you need, I mean, I guess you don't need to Pendulum summon another Pendulum monster, but it would be kind of stupid. The reason I feel Pendulums are just not very likely to appear, not nearly as likely as maybe Synchros and XZs, is because I feel Pendulum summoning is a gateway to summoning a fusion, to summoning an XZs, to summoning a Synchro, very similar to how now Link summoning can be used as that same gateway. So I just don't see those mechanics really working, but that's just my opinion because, again, my opinion's not great when it comes to this card game. Not my area of expertise at all, so just keep that in mind, but that's just how I've always viewed it, and that's really why I wanted to make a specific discussion video to talk to you guys about this, because I really want to know what you guys think the possibility of all this stuff happening is. But yeah, that's basically how I feel about Synchros, XZs, and Pendulums. There's a chance, I don't even think it's a bad chance or a long shot, but I'm not too confident that Pendulums especially are going to appear, and I don't want to say that it's more than likely we will see Synchros and XZs just because of how the show has kind of transpired to this point, if that makes any sense. But you guys let me know all your thoughts on this down below, because I think this is a very fascinating topic, and I think it's awesome that we have seen fusions and rituals in such a short period of time, and we know that there are more summoning methods besides links. I mean, links were being shoved down our throats the entire first season, so it is nice to see a little bit of variety. I know Season 2 has been enjoyed by many. I think Season 2 has probably been much more enjoyed than Season 1 has been thus far based on the comments I've been reading, and so hopefully Season 2 can keep up what has been a very, very interesting continuation of the Night of Hanoi arc, and we're kind of going into, I guess, a Lost Memories arc. I don't even know what this arc would be called. We don't even know the name of the villain group with Bowman and Hal. But anyway, guys, I'm going to cut myself off there. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. A big thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Alexa Baker, Christopher Johannes Bouska, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, D01, and James Rose. And a big thank you to my Diamond tier patrons, Soledsnak, and bouldergeist. Cannot thank all of you enough who support me over on Patreon, and I cannot thank all of you enough who just watch my videos and support me over on YouTube. I will talk to you down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.